everybody, and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here. Well, today the devs had their Ask Me Anything on Reddit, where they gathered questions from the community and they answered a lot of them. And as I always do with these, I tell you everything. So I'm not going to go over the highlights of I'm not going to cherry pick questions. We're going to read them all together, large and small. No question that was answered is too small. So I have gathered all the responses and we're going to read through them together here. I'm seeing a lot of these for the first time myself, so here we go. So here is the thread, official Dead by Daylight developer, Ask Me Anything. Join the team and ask us your most bone-chilling questions. So I have selected all the ones that they responded to, so anything that didn't get an answer, you're not going to see. Just the stuff they answered. Big Jess, with the ability to earn blood points through completing challenges in the Tome, complete 4 medkits, do co-op actions for 360 seconds, etc., has there ever been ideas of doing career challenges for blood points shards, like complete 100 generator repairs, hook 150 survivors, etc. for a whole career? We've thought of something similar, but not exactly a lifetime achievement. The proposal we're going with is more to complete harder missions to upgrade an outfit. That's interesting. But we'll consider your suggestion as well. That's Rose. I think that's Rose Lee. I didn't actually click on the team to see who is in this, the answering thing, but I think that's Rose Lee. As it currently stands, a lot of information in the game is obscured from killers. Most notably, killers are unable to see the hook stages of survivors. Many players argue that this is necessary in order to discourage killers from tunneling, but others, like myself, believe that killers who choose to tunnel will do so anyway without needing a reminder. There are many other instances of hidden information, such as the plague's infection progress, the pig's RBT timer, etc. Are there any considerations to revealing this kind of information to the killers, even if it comes at the cost of a compensation nerf? It's true that tunnelers are gonna tunnel, but it's also a killer strategy we don't want to outright support via our user interface. Currently, we don't have any plans to reveal this information. That comes from Mike. Otsdarva, hey, I know that guy. With the return of Stranger Things, many useful perks have now disappeared from the pool of common perks for both sides. With Jolt being gone, for example, killers no longer have any regression perks unless they buy or unlock new characters. Are there any plans to rework or improve the current pool of common perks to make it more useful and accessible for beginners? Mike answers, this is something we were just discussing in a live design meeting yesterday. Right now, we have no immediate plans to introduce new general perks. New killers are also up against new survivors, so gen regression perks are not necessarily needed at this level when players are learning to play the game, and the base character perks reflect this. Also, things like in January, where they're going to reduce the cost of buying a character with iridescent shards. Now, I know that's not going to help with the Demogorgon because he's licensed, but that will help with characters like the Plague that can give you some helpful perks as a killer to unlock with that at that reduced rate of iridescent shards. Okay, Mazagati says, Boon, Scourge, and Teamwork perks were all added as a unique type of perk, but then abruptly stopped seeing new additions shortly after. Do you have any plans to revitalize these as to be recurring and common as Hex and Exhaustion perks? I agree that our perk types are pretty interesting and should see some new action, but I can't promise anything. We always try to match the theme of the attached characters and IPs, and we also try to support underused strategies and or counter overused strategies where possible. Sometimes these elements take us to specific designs that don't always line up with specific types. The Gaming Maniac. That is even more reason why you should give prestige rewards. Prestige is something players can always attain year-round. It is an achievable goal, obtainable just by playing your game. We appreciate players' passion with regards to prestige rewards. No promises, but we will kick off the discussion internally to see if something is achievable to keep you updated as to when and if this changes. Okay, so is this a follow-up to another one here? The new banner and badge system is perfect for this type of reward. Incremental rewards for different prestige levels and achievements, challenges with the benefit of showing them off in the post-game lobbies. That's what most players actually want for rewards. We hear you, and it's why we do discussions like this to get direct feedback. Thank you for keeping it constructive. Yeah, I think that with the badge and banner system, this is an obvious slam dunk. to provide some kind of reward for those people who said they want to feel like they got something for reaching P100, those kind of things. Seems like a miss not to do that, but my opinion. What about the Amazon Prime skins? Will those come back? Those particular outfits will be added to the store after a designated period of time. Okay, so the Amazon Prime exclusive outfits, as I said, I always suspected that the exclusivity would be early access. Generally, almost everything that is exclusive in Dead by Daylight is essentially early access, and it comes out in the store eventually. Can you provide clarity about the infamous black bubble which appears over props like generators and hooks? This black bubble temporarily obstructs aura reading from perks like Kindred and Bitter Murmur. Both perks lose immediate value until the sphere overlay dissipates. Since its introduction, the community has received conflicting responses about this unintended behavior. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the black bubble when someone gets hooked either. Infamous indeed, though it has some disliked interplay with props and auras, the black bubble serves a purpose as it stands, and we don't have any current plans to address it directly. But I can tell you that we have recently greenlit a rework to our aura system that we are planning to move forward with sometime soonish. Famous last words, haha. It won't change the black bubble, but it should make auras better. Interesting. So the auras gonna overlay on top of the bubble? Question mark. Wonder what that means. Aquatic Citizen, could we get specifics on the changes to save the best for last? It's one of those perks that I don't feel like needs a lot of adjusting, as it only really helps M1 killers as opposed to high tier killers like Nurse or Blight. Ooh, I wish I could spill the beans all over the place, but I am strictly forbidden. What I can say is that we've been pretty cautious with this perk, and the changes are not dramatic. So this is part of that video I made where they talked about the next 6 months of plans, and a rework for Save the Best for Last was on that list. The Maple State, hi Behavior, thank you for doing this AMA and so many others this year. My question is, do you have any plans to combat survivors killing themselves on the first hook deliberately? This is currently and has always been a big issue in solo queue and seems to be happening more and more frequently. These bots taking over disconnected players, whilst not perfect, was a welcome change, but players would rather dodge the DC penalty and just kill themselves on hook, which voids the bot system completely. I understand that the DC penalty is necessary, also, it's a hard situation to tackle. I wish I had more to say on this topic. No, we don't have any plans for this. We hear your concern and recognize the frustrations, but we just really don't have any reasonable solutions here. Sad but true. Yeah, I can see that. With the FOV slider coming, what will happen with Shadowborn? Shadowborn is being given a new functionality. I can't spoil it for you, but we hope you'll like it. Yeah, since they're introducing this field of view slider, it makes perks like Monitor and Abuse and Shadowborn not obsolete, because Monitor Abuse still has some other values, but those ones that increase your field of view, those are going to be retweaked. Part of that 6-month plan. Are there any plans to update custom lobbies, more spectator slots, free cam, and maybe map seeds? This would greatly enable content creators to make better content. This has been considered by the team, more specifically for tournament reasons, but they are not going to be arriving in the game anytime soon due to priority reasons. All right, I guess they have bigger fish to fry, so to speak. Tomo, this year there was a lot of game-breaking bugs. Flashlights got kill switched second time in a few months, a lot of invisible killers, and female vault bugs too. Any plans to do a health update? I will take future with less chapters, but a more stable game. We try to constantly improve the state of the game, but it's unfortunate that some issues keep coming back. Each release is aimed to be stable, and we will continue to do our best to hit that goal. There are no concrete plans for an update dedicated to health, but our hope is to have each build be polished as well as it can. So my frustration with this is we see when new content comes out, we see old bugs come back. And I don't think that I'm setting the bar too high when I'm saying that there should be a laundry list of, hey, what are the things that got kill switched in the game for the last 6 months, the last 9 months, the last 12 months. Keep a rolling list of that and just check specifically with QA, hey, have any of these bugs come back before you release that patch? It just seems like, I don't think that that's a long list. There aren't a ton of things that have gotten kill switched, but obviously if those things are getting kill switched, they are very detrimental to the health of the game. And those are the things that should be checked for first on their own with QA, in my opinion, to see if those bugs are in there again before they roll the patch out. Am I setting the bar too high? I don't think that's a big ask. Like, it can't be that many things. There haven't been that many things kill switched in the last 12 years. But I think if you're going to check for any bugs that have come back, it should be those. No? I don't know. That's my opinion on the whole thing. I just think, hey, you know, flashlights caused this exploit. Maybe we should check and see if that's back. I don't know. That's my thought on the whole thing here. I mean, if quality is, what is quality assurance for, if not for that? The assurance of quality with those game-breaking bugs. It's not a big list. I don't know. That's my old man rant for the day. Krazelvir. Although the gap between Survive with Friends and solo survivors has been reduced quite significantly since the addition of Survivor Activity HUD in 6.5, there is still a notable power imbalance. In my opinion, this is caused particularly because of two reasons: the lack of shown progression for non-repairing and non-recovery actions in the Activity HUD, and a lack of information about ally perks and items. Are there any plans to further bridge the Swift and solo survivor gap by providing solo players with more information about their allies? We always monitor the difference between survivor groups, Survive with Friends and solo, and our current stance is that the lack of information is not the crux of the problem, but rather that friends work together by nature and solo survivors don't as much. Mike, I completely agree with this point of view. When I play solos, you can see that for the most part, people are playing to be the last one standing rather than contributing as a group and saying, I don't care who survives as long as someone survives and we beat the killer, and pushing objectives. I see too much that people are fearful of terror radiuses and they're like, anybody can die as long as it's not me, and playing to be the last person standing. So, yeah, I can't disagree with what Mike says here. Okay, that's like a duplicate. I guess they put the answer in there twice. Any plans for survivors losing collision when they have multiple crows? We did touch on this here. What is that? Is that another part of this? It is currently possible for players to... Oh, is this part of it? Yeah, okay. It is currently possible for players to body block other players in certain parts of the match for indefinite periods of time due to the fact that players maintain permanent collision unless they are a survivor that is damaged. And as such, this is very easy for players to hold the game hostage or guarantee a kill on a survivor who is trapped via body blocking. One common suggestion to alleviate this problem is to grant survivors with AFK crows no collision so that they may only ever be held in place for a maximum of 60 seconds, ensuring that killers can still capitalize off the trapped survivor's mistake without abusing the permanent collision. Are there any plans to implement a mechanic like this in order to prevent hostage holding in a match? I assume you're referring to the body blocking here. It's not something we're actively working on, no, but I understand it has been under discussion before. Your question is noted. Yeah, that stinks if you catch somebody in a corner and just stand there and hold them there. Every single killer and survivor is bound to have their ups and downs, but when you notice, for example, a killer becomes a thing of frustration, is it easier to look at the add-ons or the base kit when initializing a balance for a killer? Easier, that depends on the complexity of the base kit and add-ons. When we look at updating a killer, we try to address frustrations and problems directly. Sometimes it ties more to add-ons, sometimes to the base kit, sometimes both. So, case-by-case basis, I guess. Little Kangaroo. Are there any plans to offer blood point incentives for individual killers based on how many people are currently playing them, like the blood point incentives for survivor and killer roles? This would help give survivors more variety in the killers they go against. I've seen this proposed before. This is something that we've seen requested by the community, and we don't currently have a plan in place for this, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I genuinely do not think this idea works. You can offer you can offer as many blood point incentives as you want for people to play killer, for example, or play as a certain killer, and they aren't going to take it. We see people DC in situations and throw all of their blood points away. I really don't think that blood point incentives work. That's my personal opinion on it. I see times where when I play, it's 100% bonus for killer all the time, and it rarely evens out. So I don't think blood point incentives work. People are going to play what they want to play when they want to play it, and no amount of blood points are going to make that much of a difference, in my opinion. Do you ever plan to implement random perks challenge as a permanent feature available to players at any time? It has a lot of fans. Not knowing what perks you have until the match starts is so fun, plus it opens you up to perk combos you've previously sidelined. It's such a shame you have to die and fail the challenge in order to play like that again. We're super pumped that the random perk challenges have been well received. I can't draw back the red curtain on future modes or anything right now, but the fact that people really like random perks is certainly something we've noticed and is a part of our consideration for the future. Imagine like on April Fool's Day that all games are just random perks. That would be kind of neat. Can we hope on Sadako, on the Sadako skin from mobile? I'll put this up on the screen, hopefully, if I remember to show you what this is here. We are trying to get the rights and have ported and to have it ported to core. Keep on hoping. So Rose is in charge of the cosmetics, if this is the Rose I'm thinking that it is. And they got an exclusive cosmetic for Sadako for mobile, and people want it. Hopefully it'll happen. The music of this game is freaking amazing. Can we get a jukebox so that we can listen to the chase music and themes, both current and past, on a loop? If I wanted to get greedy, unused tracks too, like Trickster's, the TPB theme, it slaps so much. YouTube is filled with videos of the music in the game with hundreds of thousands of views. Being able to listen to it all in game would be fantastic. We don't have any plans to put out a jukebox, no. However, if you want to hear more of the Dead by Daylight music, don't hesitate to check out Michel F. April on YouTube, and the third volume of the Dead by Daylight original soundtrack just came out on Spotify last month too. Brass Band Geek. One of the biggest parts of this game is the music. So many killers get a ton of personality and horror added to them by music. Some killers, Bubba, Pig, Plague, etc., those share the same generic music, and it makes me so sad. Is there any plan or idea for giving either 1, new music to generic music killers, or 2, keep the base music and add an extra layer on top of each killer, like the Legion mixtapes, add extra parts to their music? I really wish the Pig had her own music, but DBD is an evolutive game, ever-changing and getting updates here and there. All of our monsters are equal in our hearts and deserve the same attention. If your favorite killer doesn't have a feature yet, it may come in the future. Don't lose hope. Man, I really wish we had Hello Zep for the Pig. I just wanted to say it's super cool that the Naughty Bear skin for Trapper got its own unique Mori, and I hope to see more skins do that in the future. Though I suppose my one question is if we'll ever see Trapper's base Mori updated. Trapper, Wraith, and Hillbilly have very outdated Moris compared to the rest of the cast, and I was just wondering if we'll ever see them updated in any fashion. Thank you for bringing this up. This is something we're looking into for sure, though it is not our top priority at the moment. Dang it. Will we ever be able to sell unwanted offerings and add-ons back to the entity for some blood points? So that's the crafting mode that people have been asking for. Not planned at the moment, but that's an interesting idea. I mean, we've been asking for crafting for years. With the addition of the casting of Frank Stone and the upcoming movie, will we have more focus and lore-based content that is not only through archives in the future? I would love to make more connections to the DVD universe and the cosmology, since the lore is so powerfully breathtaking. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing, and I cannot wait to see more of the universe of the entity. Hey, thank you for playing and for your interest in the universe. It gives us dark energy. I sadly cannot disclose any of our future endeavors. Nevertheless, with what is already announced, the comic, Frank Stone, the movie, and that all other multiplayer PvE game, it's pretty clear we want to give out more of the DVD universe. That reminds me, I need to make a video about my more recent Legion comics 2 and 3. I haven't even entered my codes for the charms on those yet. Hey guys, thanks for holding another AMA. Have you guys ever considered implementing a sort of a match replay feature where players can review their previous matches from all players' point of view? It would be both a useful tool to review our gameplay to help us better ourselves as players, as well as help us better identify cheaters post-game so we don't wave false reports around. Thanks again. Then we can go, see, look at that person just crouching in the corner. They're not doing anything. This is something we'd love to have ourselves. However, this would represent an important technical challenge to do, and so it's not something that's planned for now. Whether it's a big Jess, oh man, some people got more than one question. Whether it's entire chapters or individual things like a specific perk or survivor killer being added, what has been the most fun thing to have worked on and bring to the DBD universe thus far? For me, it's the Reddit AMAs. Come on, Mandy. I'd say to be able to watch the full evolution of DBD from ideation to where we are now, but I think that's cheating as you ask for a specific individual thing. The thing is, it's impossible to answer. There's just too much cool and fun stuff we worked on over the last decade. I cannot pick the thing that was the most fun, and you can't make me. Here's some highlights, though, from the early days. The stalking mechanic, the blood web, the entity look and animations, the hook, and the early days streams with Ash and Matthew Cote. I love those. Good times. The L Gaunt. Will we see statistics for kill rates and escapes divided by killer, swift, solo, duo, and MMR for the past year? We love the data. Statistics are something that the community team wants to regularly communicate about with the community. We've started over the past few months with perk usage, and yes, we're looking to do more over the course of the coming few months. Mandy. Snatcha, what's the latest news on the cheating situation? I experienced 6 cheaters in the last 4 days, and it's really annoying. Cheating is a constant war. We're always updating our own tools to combat the situation. The cheaters then upgrade theirs. It's a cycle. You can, of course, report these players, and then our team of player support agents is able to take action against specific individuals. Cheaters suck. Full stop. When can we know something about the casting of Frank Stone? Will characters be added to the game? We're not able to give more information about this right now. Please follow the casting of Frank Stone's social channels for news updates. If you don't know what this is, the casting of Frank Stone is a new game coming out next year by Supermassive Games, and it's going to be another DBD game. What's the status of depipping outside of DCing? Since grades are not affecting matchmaking anymore, these seem outdated and more punishing than they should. Is there a possibility to remove these? This has been extensively discussed within the team. We're looking into it and we'll share more info in the future. Yes, please stop the depipping. It's hard enough to grind up and get these pips. And for the amount of blood points that, like I was looking at it moving through silver, I'm trying to get 5 pips to move up and get another 30,000 blood points. It's like big whoop. Why should I have to fight and back and forth to lose pips and gain pips for this minimal amount? You know, why am I grinding for that paltry amount of blood points? 30,000 per jump. When can we get an announcement regarding Hidden Prestige? You guys did a Hidden Prestige test 4 months ago, and there haven't been any updates since. So if you don't know what this is, they did a test where they had an A group and a B group, and some of the people in either the A or the B group had their prestige visible, and the other group had prestige hidden, because there's been a lot of discussion about they can see that I'm prestige 100 and I have a bad experience because of this. So what they did is they decided to hide prestige for a certain group of people and see if it had any merit. Were there any differences in behavior? Was there more lobby dodging? Was there more tunneling based on people who had visible prestige compared to the hidden prestige? Now, we don't know what the results were of that test, but that's what essentially the test was, to see if the two groups behaved differently, whether or not prestige was visible or not. Constant lobby dodging, inaccurate matchmaking, and in-game harassment are still major issues most have to deal with just because of their prestige level, and hiding them would be an easy yet effective change that would help combat these problems. We received positive feedback and results on this pilot experiment, and we're making plans to conduct a larger user research. No public announcement for now, but it's in the works. Stay tuned. With the recent changes to Trickster, especially the newly released buff of 7.4.2, is there any plan on improving the Deathslinger experience in any meaningful way? He's not bad per se, but with the now 4.6 meters per second and 32 meter terror radius, the buff that the Trickster received, Deathslinger being a 4.4 meter killer with the same 32 meter terror radius seems to hinder him more than it should, and his add-ons are only good for a select few while relegating the others to either niche, mediocre, or, for most of them, both. We don't have any solid plans for a major update on the Deathslinger as of now. However, we are aware of how the Made for This update has affected this killer, so we're keeping an eye on him. So Made for This kicks in when you're in deep wound, which the Deathslinger tends to deliver a lot of deep wounds with the harpoon gun, and he has that 4.4 meter per second speed, which is troublesome for him, right? I mean, it's troublesome just for him to get map coverage at that speed, honestly. Are the levels of injured, sounds, and panting survivors emit going to be normalized soon? Different characters currently get vastly different outcomes on mind games depending on who they are because of the audio, ultimately pushing players towards certain few characters. Signed, an Ash and Jeff enjoyer. So Ash and Jeff are pretty loud, and at one point they had decided they were going to do a pass-through and equalize everyone's everyone's sound levels to make it more fair, but they answer here, we're very aware of this concern. We investigated this recently and discovered it isn't quite as straightforward as we hoped, but putting on our detective hats and digging into this further, I think it's only fair to make all of the survivors have the same amount of grunts of pain, like same levels. Otherwise, you know, you're going to see a lot of ace mains out there because he's super quiet. Anyway. Any plans for endgame statistics to see how much someone was chased or doing gens or breaking totems, etc., as it is in DBD Mobile? The emblem system gives some information around these things currently, but we don't have any plans to expand that at the moment. What is this? Oh, okay. Sorry. There's a picture hidden here. Will this map ever make a return? Maybe with the swamp rework. It was playable in the beta, but it was completely removed. Ah, nice to see someone who remembers the village. That was the name of this map. No plans I can share at this time, but thank you for showing your interest in this map. I hope that comes back. I don't know. The same rotation of maps can get boring fast. Do you plan on adding more realms? For the characters that currently have no personal realms, especially. Trickster deserves a cool neon scene map. Or our new good guy would be even better with the factory. I mean, I think yes, but if they were going to do it, they would have made that with the chapter. Or the Survivor special maps could have been nice as well, like Nick's movie filming stage he kind of had at the trailer. Similar to another question I answered earlier, so please allow me to copy-paste a bit. Maps are tricky for a lot of reasons, and there's only so much we can do in a year for a lot of other reasons. And that said, realms are built with procedural and reuse in mind, and thus it's very possible to re-explore these realms with new locations in the future. This is not a promise, Dave. I don't know, I just think as much as I would like to see more maps, like especially like a Trickster, Neon, Soul City map of the recording studio, I would love that. I really just don't think they're going to find the time to go back for that. If they ever do, you'll be able to knock me over with a feather, honestly. You guys claimed last AMA that a dislike of FOMO is why you didn't have prestige rewards past P9, but that doesn't exactly make sense for two reasons. People are free to prestige in their own time. It's not like their levels are going anywhere, and you already have actual time-limited content in the game twice a year with the Halloween and the winter events, to the point where cosmetics that have been accessible at any time for years have now been locked behind a window of a few weeks. Why claim FOMO as a reason why you're hesitant to add more rewards for dedicated players when there's already a substantial amount of limited content in the game? Rose tackles this one. Prestige and limited time content are significantly different for us in the sense that the prestige option should always be there for all players, whereas limited content is almost always linked to seasonal events such as anniversary, Halloween, Bone Chill, etc., which again ties back to us not wanting to clog up the inventory store for players when the relative season is not active. Any news on the Iron Maiden collection? What month are they coming out? Will the Eddies get their own Moris? I'm still hoping for the first album, Eddie. I can't wait to main him. Iron Maiden is going to get you no matter how far. Although the Iron Maiden outfits will not be visceral, that's the new category that they implemented with Naughty Bear that had a unique Mori. We think you'll be nicely surprised about what we have in store for you. Look out for the collection dropping in the first half of 2024. Would you also consider additional rewards on daily rituals? We hope to rework the entire daily ritual system, and that would involve improved presentation and reward visualization. I mean, I don't really do my dailies, do you? I don't think they're worth it. I don't think, again, it goes back to that point that I said about adding additional blood point incentives for people to play killers that no one is playing. We have those in our daily rituals, and I just don't think a lot of people are doing them. First of all, thank you so much for doing another AMA. Let's cut to the chase. Why can't we combo pieces in the store so we could check which pieces we'd like to buy before we actually do? We used to be able to do that for a short amount of time, but it got patched. It would be nice to have that back. I got more questions, but that's all for now. Many thanks. We plan on remaking this in the future, but it's still under development. Interesting. Have you guys considered any shark or dinosaur type killers in the game at all, licensed or not? I'm just wondering if the thought process ever treaded those waters. Aha! Aha, I see what you did there, because it's in italics. We've treaded water, fire, earth, wind, metal, cosmos, spaghetti, and more. Many more surprises are coming from this team's beautiful mind. I saw somebody propose Jaws in Dead by Daylight, and they had video of a shark chasing in the maps, and I was like, how would that work? Well, every map is underwater, and for whatever reason, every survivor can just breathe underwater and run normally with normal physics, but it's underwater and the shark is chasing you. And I was like, I don't hate it, actually. I really don't hate it. That's kind of cool. Have you ever considered adding some rewards on the free track of the Rift on tiers 70 to 85? We're constantly brainstorming ideas for more rewards in the Rift, not just past tier 70, but across the board to make the Rift even more interesting to work through. Love hearing that. Nobody likes empty slots in the Rift, right? Is it possible that at some point we can change the appearance of the lobby, depending on the skin, for example, or freely? That'd be fun. Which past lobby is your favorite? This is something that people constantly ask for, the being able to change the lobby look, the music. I don't know. I don't know why there's resistance to it. Are we able to receive any hints on what the solution for the 3-gen might be? So this is another thing that they said in the next 6-month plan is a solution for the 3-gen strategy. Hint, the PTB goes out in January, so we won't have to wait long to see that. In all seriousness, what I can say is that we have tried very hard to solve the problem without interfering with normal games. Wait, one more hint. We think you'll get a kick out of it. What does that mean? Huh. Interesting. Guess we'll find out soon. Any plans to make Buckle Up not work with For the People? I can tell you this is on our radar, haha. We actually just talked about this in our live design meeting yesterday. I can't tell you what our plans are as of now, but know that we're thinking about how to address this. I mean, I think the most obvious thing that you need to do here is make sure that For the People and Buckle Up doesn't work when all the gens are powered the way that so many of the perks don't. That seems simplest and maybe the most fair solution for that. Without, because otherwise you're just going to completely kill the combo and you're going to make these perks not be run anymore like they were before that. So Do you plan for survivors to be able to inspect each other's builds before the game starts, just to make people with less than 4 players coordinate more efficiently? This is something we've also thought about, but are currently restricted due to flexibility in the lobby screens. We are updating these old screens gradually, and you should see some improvement over the next years. Sounds like there's something coming, but it's far down the road. With the old characters going 50% off permanently, does that mean that they will also be 50% off during events? For example, a character will go for 2,250 shards, even cheaper than the 9K. Yep, that's possible. 4,500 shards would be their new base price. So generally, when a character is featured in a tome, they put those characters on sale, so because there are challenges that you absolutely need those characters to do the challenges that are in the tome. So they put them on sale for half price, even for shards. So we could see them go as low as 2,250. This is interesting. Can you share any kind of teaser for the survivor that will join the fog in the next mid-chapter update? Haha, no. Are anniversary chapters now only going to be original, or will they sometimes be licensed and sometimes original? Our only rules is that there are no rules and we don't talk about clubs. I see. We don't talk about Fight Club. I got you. Brad Pitt going to be the next survivor? What? Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I used to think that it was a miss if they didn't have a license for an anniversary chapter, but I don't feel that way anymore. Because, you know, since we've seen the Stranger Things license go, but now come back, thankfully, I don't think it's a good idea to pin a license on your anniversary chapter. For the anniversary, the game should be the star of the anniversary, not a licensed chapter. So I've changed my viewpoint on this, and I appreciate that the anniversary chapters have been original. But, you know, I'm always one who will welcome a license if it's something I'm into. Does the upcoming tweak for Huntress, slated in April, have anything to do with how she is the most map-dependent killer? We have 7 indoor maps now, which make her power much more difficult. This tweak will unfortunately not affect her map dependency directly. That's a complex change to solve and will need a larger update. For April, we're focused more on making her more enjoyable to play across the board. We do hear your concern, though, and are constantly trying to update our maps to accommodate all killers and play styles better. Any chance of getting more controller settings in the game, such as those in Meet Your Maker? No news to share for now, but we have been investigating a couple of enhancements related to control remapping and sensitivity options. I know a lot of people that I play with are like, come out of the pallet when you need a heal, because I'm going to throw down the pallet accidentally trying to heal you. So I'm assuming they mean things like that. For the twins rework, what does adjust the slugging meta mean? First off, definition. Slugging equals downing a survivor without picking them up and hooking them, leaving them on the ground and rushing off to down more survivors. We've noticed that for many players, the optimal way to play with the current twins kit is to slug survivors heavily with Victor. This isn't a very fun playstyle for survivors, as you'd end up spending a lot of time on the ground and not able to do anything. So, the twins update will change the kit to encourage other kinds of playstyles more. I cannot wait to see the new twins. We have waited a long time for this. Can't wait to see what they do with that. That's on that 6-month roadmap too. Now that we have bots taking over human players after they disconnect, can we get a reconnect feature for human players? It made sense in the past that players couldn't reconnect because the character just disappeared, but it would be really nice to be able to reconnect now and replace the bot. It would help a lot for people whose internet connection just drops for a second or crash. It's not on our roadmap to do this at the moment, but it's a topic we can bring to the team and discuss the feasibility on. No promises, but we'll certainly evaluate this and see if it's possible in the future. Can you reconnect on mobile? I can't remember. You said that for 2023 you wanted to do a sci-fi theme for horror. Are there any other themes you want to do for future chapters? Yes, all chapters have a strong theme we work around. Sci-fi was not an exception, even though it was maybe more of an extreme theme. Medieval, feudal Japan, nightmares, folklore, etc. There's always a theme, and they'll be used in the future as well. Thanks to the team for making this Q&A possible. When the first Sadako rework hit the live servers, a lot of Onryo mains were very vocally upset about the huge changes in how her power works, requiring players to shift fundamentally to different playstyles, and also creating a more confusing experience for survivors. Is the upcoming Sadako rework aiming to make her more similar to the original version of the character? Is it going to be just a couple of tweaks on her current iteration, or will it be an attempt at fusing these two versions? We have definitely heard the cries of anguish from Onryo fans. Our initial intention was to make Condemned more relevant, but we've reassessed, and yes, we're hoping to restore much of what players loved about the old kit while still enhancing it in some important ways. We sincerely hope her latest kit will resonate with killers and survivors alike. Make the Condemned more relevant? It was like the only thing she was doing. I don't know. I'm glad they're reworking her. Showing concept art of new content and behind the scenes is a very cool tradition. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this, but can you show something from the period when this tradition did not exist yet? Like, what about Kate Denson's default? I don't see why not. Thanks for the interest. I'm sure someone on the team will take note of this and jump on the occasion. Hey Behavior, thanks for doing the AMA. Have you ever thought about implementing an option to gift skins to friends like in Fortnite? I'd love to give some skins to some people on my friends list and receive them, huh? Why not? Also, would you kindly make a BioShock chapter, pretty please? Love y'all and this game so much. Yes, we have. There are a lot of complications to gifting that need to be addressed before such a feature can be done, though, such as regional pricing, fraud prevention, friend spam, etc. But it's not off the table, though. In the past, what they said is, like, basically buy your friend a gift card and say, hey, this is for you to get those skins you want. That's, like, the simplest solution, right? Any plans to add a crosshair option? We're in 2024. It's such a basic feature to be added. Now, since original survivors will be 50% cheaper in shards, will the outfits be cheaper too? Feels kind of weird to pay $4,500 for a character and $7,200 for a cosmetic piece and $21,000 for a full one. The blood web system won't be changed anymore since we got a new roadmap. What? There were blood web tweaks, right? On the roadmap. No plans. I assume you're referring to range killers like the Huntress and Deathslinger, in which case the choice was intentional not to have crosshairs. We wanted to avoid gaminess as much as possible, which meant learning on physical objects and reactions in the game for feedback. We also designed ranged killers to work without a reticle. Whispers, psst, I also heard you can put a crosshair overlay on your screen if you want to. Yeah, so crosshairs are not like against TOS. They don't care if you put on your own overlay with a crosshair, but they don't want to provide it to you. Michaela is the only original character in the game to not have any country or location of origin. Would you be able to say where? It's speculated to be Ireland or the United States. Correct. Michaela is American, but her origin has yet to be revealed. Stay tuned. Dun, dun, dun. Is the FOV slider just for killers, or are survivors going to get an FOV slider too? The FOV slider is designed to affect the first person only. Survivors and Chucky are in third person, so the FOV slider will not increase their FOV. Oh, I didn't actually know that. That's interesting. Are there any plans to add player icons and banners for older DLCs? I would love a Saw or a Ghostface theme. Even icons for unlicensed killers and survivors would be welcome. Not impossible. We hope to add more player cards for sure. They actually answered this somewhere. I did a video about it in my my badges and banners video, and they said that they were going to go back and retroactively add more themes for existing content, but it was going to take some time. And if you notice, like my Freddy and my Quentin say 3 out of 3 for their cosmetic options, so they seem to be counting the badges and banners that I have as part of my cosmetic options, because I have, what, 2 badges and 1 banner right now. So people are like, whoa, that means Freddy and Quentin are getting stuff. No, it's just counting the badges and banners as part of my cosmetics for all my characters. So everybody's cosmetics increased by 3 on my board. Would you guys still consider going back to old chapters that didn't get a map? Didn't we answer this one already? And giving them their own map, especially since some of them could fit into newly established realms. Absolutely, maps are tricky. We read that one, right? Getting some repeats here. For the FOV slider, Shadowborn's extra FOV makes the... Oh, no, this is different. Makes the angle of flashlight blinds easier for survivors. Will that be fixed with the FOV slider update? Right now, this is not going to change. It's something we'll continue to monitor with the use of the FOV slider. Initially, the FOV slider will go into the beta tab to allow for us to fully test the feature on the live build. Wow, we're getting the beta tab back that you can opt into it. That's interesting. I'm glad the beta tab is back. Wonder how easy it'll be to flashlight people who have the slider all the way open. Will we see a Hooked on You Part 2, maybe called Hooked on You 2, Hooked on You 2 Electric Boogaloo? Also, Blue and White Bikini, Hooked on You Hunter Skin when? Hey there. Thanks for your interest in another Hooked on You title and for the great title idea. We have no news to share at this time, but we always love seeing interest coming from our dear community. Will we see the return of some old Rift skins that didn't appear in the shop after so much time? We plan to introduce most Rift skins back in the store, but with a focus on the unique outfits. For color variations, we're still investigating methods that won't clog up the store. So, like, if they had a recolor in the Rift and it's similar to something you can buy already, they're afraid it's going to bloat the cosmetics in the store, so they're holding back on the recolors. But unique stuff should be going in the store. Deep Rift versions of outfits will only be available in the Rift. Well, wait a minute. You just said that you don't want the people to have the FOMO. But now you're saying that they're only going to be able to get the Deep Rift in the Rift. How is that not the FOMO? Deep Rift are the blue color variations of the ones you can earn in the regular Rift. Huh. And that's it. We did it. Oh, gosh, gang. This is going to be like a, I don't know, 40, 50-minute video. We did it. We read all the things. Okay, so that's your Ask Me Anything. I do have one more thing to show you. Okay, just one more thought here on the Ask Me Anything. So they provided this. In case you missed it, here's our roadmap. So you can see what's planned. Ask Us Anything. So somewhere... this got changed. You notice here all these killer tweaks are this much, but then Text noticed that this appears elsewhere. Notice this today on the AMA thread. There seems there is an updated roadmap that no longer shows the Huntress, the Pig, the Demo of the Clown, etc. in the tweaks section here in the very middle. It just shows the Singularity. It has instead been replaced with a killer update for the Singularity. Curious to see if those tweaks are being scrapped or not. But when I go to the AMA, I see the old version. So I'm not sure exactly where Hex saw this part that only says the Singularity. But, you know, it should be noted that there is a different version here. But then they also answered that question about the Huntress. So I think that maybe in addition to the Singularity, they're still going to stay on brand with all of these tweaks here. So hopefully we're going to have both. But that definitely muddies the water about what's going on when we are looking at two different roadmaps. So, but as it always says, dates are planned but not final, subject to change based on development needs. So yeah, so we're starting to see the subject to change stuff already. Hopefully we'll get it all. But anyway, that's all I have to show you today. As always, thank you so very much for watching. I always appreciate the time you spend here with me on my channel. What did you think about the AMA? Was it a little meatier than what we've seen in the past, or was it mostly what you expect with some non-answers and maybe we'll see and hopefully no plans, blah, blah, blah. What did you think about all that? Was it worth your 50 minutes of viewing? But at any rate, I appreciate it if you made it this far. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life